And welcome to a brand new edition of Der or Die, the Porsche podcast where we pronounce Der or Die correctly. All of you German aficionado wannabe jagoffs can go suck it. Der or Die is pronounced however the hell you want to pronounce it because it's a proper noun in English and we're a bunch of Americans. Dwayne, my co-host, how you doing, buddy? Dwayne Wick, what's up?
Oh, I'm actually trying to think of the actual way to pronounce it, and now I can't remember.
Because
I wanted to say it's
we
so
are
bad.
pronouncing it correctly. It's just the Germans are a bunch of
They're wrong.
D-holes.
They're wrong.
D-holes.
I'm good. I'm excited because we have Mental helping us out tonight. Everyone Racers podcast.
Mental's on the buttons. How's it going, Mental?
Yeah,
it's going great. Thank you guys. And I'd like to point out that we pronounced Der correctly, but we pronounced
wrong.
No one's name.
Actually,
no one's name correctly. So there's some other folks in the audience that I'm sure Dwayne's going to introduce here in a moment.
That is probably true, including our singular peanut gallery. Jason Alter in the house. Jason, how's it going, buddy?
Country singer.
Pretty good, JP. How about yourself?
Doing A-okay. Thanks, Jason. What a swell fella. Jason came in, got some pizza, brought some vodka. No, wait, you drank all the vodka.
I did drink all the vodka. I'm a freeloader.
I'm proud of Jason tonight because he could have gone home, took his shoes off, watched some TV, but no, he manned up. He came down, hung out with us. So
that's because I binge watched the 900 series and I'm supposed to be working.
he says,
Look at that. He's teasing the lead. Binge watched 900
He
series.
also had to walk like 2 extra blocks because
here for you. Okay.
I'll give you my
Okay.
wire transfer.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. All right. So there it is. We're teasing the lead there. Our guest tonight is the star of the television program on MAVTV called The 900 Series. Welcome, Tony Mazzagatti. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. Especially with this company. Are you kidding?
Oh man, I'm surprised you're still here. I'm surprised you haven't just like wait a minute. What I didn't realize this is going to be this low
I
rent.
can't get the seatbelt off. That's the problem.
he wanted to leave earlier, but no,
Yeah.
we didn't let him.
We had a higher opinion of you, but you're still here. So now it's like, all right. So the 900 series, Dwayne, have you caught up on all the episodes of 900
I've
series?
seen a large majority of season 1, and I'm glad we're doing this because now I'm going to go and watch season 2. So, and actually the show appeals to me more so than a lot of these kind of like fly-by-night shows on whatever, pick your favorite cable network, because they focus more on the actual car, the actual process, the things that I like, less about the shop drama. And I think that was something that you guys did intentionally.
Well, hold on a second. Let's explain to the audience who may not know what the 900 series is. What is the 900 series?
Well, it's basically a reality TV show based on our shop. It's a 49-year-old exclusively Porsche repair shop. And there is no drama. And the big difference between our show and a lot of these automotive reality shows is that we own the show. Now, that doesn't sound real significant, and it's not bragging, but most of these shows belong to, for instance, the first year we were on the Discovery Channel. We were on Motor Trend. Discovery is the parent company. If they own the show, then we're just paid actors, basically. And if they say, I'm going to have tattoos and throw beer cans at my guys and argue with them and like the Tuttles did and everything, that's what we'd have to do. So to be independent, to do the show the way we want, with no fake drama or anything, we had to retain ownership of the show. It's the expensive way of going, but I prefer it because it's a true reality show. Now, you keep saying the star of the show. The star of the show are our techs. You know, Gary and Blake and Brant and Ramon, our general manager. Those guys are the guys that do the work. I come in, I introduce, I'm the Vanna White, of the show. But
he does look.
She's actually my favorite. So
he looks very good in sequins. I've seen it. Yeah.
You set yourself.
You haven't
up.
seen me in my basic black dress.
Yeah.
So you have to see. You have to see how that goes.
Cocktail.
Yeah. But no, the show is we're doing actual work on actual customers' cars. If we don't have somebody's car to work on, we don't have any content. Now we have our third season. We're just about to start filming, and we have a new producer coming on board. We found this guy. He was a homeless guy that was we found him on the street down there.
Sounds like a
Under a
typical
bridge
Hollywood
abutment, yeah.
producer.
Yeah, I think his name is JP. Yeah.
What?
But he's So we'll see how the show. That's going to make
this
us or break
JP?
us. Yeah, actually, it's this JP.
I mean, it's third season. It's time to jump a shark, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's totally.
No, we're
That's true.
looking.
We
We're
need some
looking
shark
forward
jumping.
to it. JP's
Yeah.
he's got the talent and the knowledge. And the nice thing is, this is a producer that understands Porsches and the Porsche people and the whole Porsche community. So we're looking forward to. Besides, the talent you've seen his editing capabilities.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's
And
fantastic.
I'll shamelessly say you should go and find Cars Unknown. It's available on YouTube right now. This is another.
Yeah, that's one of
Yeah,
JP's
yeah,
little
it's
projects.
soon,
I'm
yeah,
on that
Dirt
show.
Fascination,
I think I'm
yeah,
somewhere-
and
I'm
Porsche
in
Road
there.
Trip. That's coming, yeah. All right, so what was the inspiration of that? So you've owned the shop, the 900 series. I'm sorry, the
Carl's Place.
Carl's Place that
AKA.
is the 900 series.
yeah, it's
shop.
actually the corporation is 900 Series Motorsports Incorporated.
Okay.
And it's a AKA of Carl's Place because again
It was
started
in business for so long.
1949. I mean, you're not gonna confuse customers
Yeah.
with that.
19, was that always here?
Yes, always here,
Always in Vegas.
always
Jason
on
wanted to
that
know.
street.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's always exclusively Porsches.
I'm pretty sure when I first met you, I thought you were Carl
a lot of people
because I was new to town. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, what? It's Carl's Place, but 900. Huh?
So
It
many
was
people
confusing
called
at first.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many people called me Carl that it was easier to just accept the name Carl than it was to change the name of the shop. So I didn't even bother.
Shout out to my good friend Alex Raphael up in Bremerton, Washington, who owns a shop called Max
Tony's Place?
RPM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and everyone thinks he's Max.
Oh,
His
right.
name is Alex.
There's
Shout out to
no
Alex.
actual Carl's signage. Like,
No,
there's
no.
nothing that says Carl's Place
Not
anywhere
anymore.
on it. But
Actually,
like
if you saw the first series, you would see our sign out front did say Carl's Place.
Yeah.
Underneath of it, it said, service exclusively.
does it still
for
have that
Porsches.
on there or no?
No, it's
Okay.
changed now to the 900 Motors. No, I'll be okay. 900 Series Motorsports.
So the 900 series TV show,
Yep.
you guys aren't like, it's not like all these other shows like the Monkey Gas Jerks and all this stuff where you get a bunch of boomers and bedazzled jeans
Yeah.
that
Oh,
like
God,
buy
Richard.
a piece of junk car and try to like put a bunch of lipstick on it and
Put a fish
polish
tank
it
in it.
up. Yeah, and a fish tank. And yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? And just get it all glitzy and try to sell it at some auction in the last minute. There's none of these like
There's
crazy,
always a
stupid,
time crunch,
fake
too.
deadlines, right?
No, and it's usually everybody is saying we got to have this car done by in the next 3 hours or something, and they all
you got a
stress
full
about
paint
it
and body.
whatnot, and they always get it done.
Yeah, shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah.
We need to have full paint and body by Tuesday, and today's Monday at midnight. That's
Yeah,
kinda
but
how it goes.
so we got to
Right.
run down to the bad part of town and get some leather seats that have had
Ooh,
like
leather.
stitching and whatever. No, so you don't do any of that. It's actually real
It's real time,
work.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
And-
real jobs on Porsches.
And if it's a job that takes longer to do, obviously we have to cut and paste all that stuff because you don't rebuild an engine, a 911 engine, within a 22-minute content. So,
Or 22 months. is-
22
Yeah, I
months.
mean it's
Where
like
I'm at.
what was it?
taking a
Julia
while.
Childs, the old all the cooking shows back in the olden days where they'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna make a
Yeah.
souffle," and then they show you how to whip it up, and then they
You would
pull one out of the
literally watch
oven.
water boil.
Yeah, right. They already had one done, and it's like,
Yeah.
and they hold it by their
Oh,
face.
right.
Yeah,
we can,
Industrial ovens.
industrial ovens cook more
we
quickly.
can't,
That's
we,
true.
Cornell.
we can't bring in a fully rebuilt motor and say, "Here's your engine, it's
Yeah.
done." Put it in the car. No,
Right. The budget's not quite there for that.
no, not really.
Yeah.
But
What was
no,
the?
it's,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's real time and real mechanics working on real customers' cars, and we get a lot of strange comments from people like, I can have my kids watch your show, because we don't do some of the crazy stuff. And I'll tell you, we're not prudes or anything like that. But for the show, we want to reach the Porsche audience, and it's a relatively mature, sophisticated audience.
Definitely. The genesis of the show. How did that happen? I mean, one day did you wake up and say, I really want to
No,
You know,
actually,
like-
we were actually approached a couple of times to do a show, and we never considered it. And then Ramon, our general manager, had a friend who was a producer, and he visited one time and said, "Hey, you got a potential good show here." And he got us started. Unfortunately, he disappeared and never really got us going. We had some stuff started, but never got us on TV. And then we had another gentleman who was excellent and had a good production company and really got us on TV and negotiated to get with both Motor Trend and now with MAVTV. So now we're looking forward to JP taking over all of that. Unfortunately, he had to take a job as a CEO of a communications company up in the Northwest. So we're going to lose him for that time. And I think, quite frankly, he is absolutely excellent. He was a great producer, but I think JP is going to fit even better because we think a lot the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't find anyone else that wanted to do it.
Well, you
And he's
were a
cheap.
fifth choice.
Right,
Yeah,
really
exactly.
cheap.
Yeah, I know how you asked the janitor,
Actually,
he didn't want to do it.
yeah.
He's like, well, can I...
Very small community.
Yeah,
So-
we had to sign
He's
out.
like,
for
can
a
I still
producer
sweep the
wanted-
floors? You're like, I don't know. No, you got to produce the show. I was like, I'm out.
And you responded to the now hiring sign that we had in the window. So
He needed Porsche work.
And
Yeah,
produce show and also clean windows.
yes,
He's like,
Yeah.
fix the wiring in my back date, and
Yeah, exactly.
we'll trade this out.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
be making TV shows at the end of time. Okay, so what are you looking forward to in season 3? We're going to be making some changes, doing things a little different.
yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to, because again, I know the way you produce video and contents and whatnot, and you did stuff with my 904 and
That's his 904 over his shoulder there. If you guys are seeing that.
and this stuff is exciting. So I think we're gonna improve the introduction and the format and just try to make it as entertaining as possible, but still very realistic.
Yeah, I like the idea of including customers and maybe customer cars and that kind of stuff. Tell me about some of your customers. I mean, people that own classic Porsches, you see them all on the internet, and the people you see on the internet are always like Magnus Walker and and all these famous people. But what are actual Porsche owners like? They're not as cool as Rod Emery or Jason Adine here.
No, they really run the gamut, and it's hard to kind of pigeonhole them. I mean, and we treat a 914 owner the same as somebody that comes in with a GT3 RS, and it makes no difference. This is the common denominator. Denominator is the car, but the people they again run the gamut. There's some very intelligent ones, some real car people, and others that don't know the front end from the rear end of the car. And I love we have some great ladies that are customers that know more about their cars than their husbands do. So I mean that whole thing where people think that women don't know anything about cars is not true. They know just as much and just as little as their husbands do. So.
Well, okay, so I mean, it's not like you try to treat all your Porsche owning customers the same, but not all Porsches are the same. I mean, we're talking about cars that were built as far back as the 50s and go all the way to these modern spaceships.
Yep.
The difference between a modern Panamera and a 60s 356. I mean, how the hell do you keep track of all the tooling and just the updates? And I mean, my God, man.
That's a tough part. But the way we minimize it is by staying specialized on just Porsches. I mean, I love these shops that say we specialize in all European cars. Well, I mean, we have probably $100,000 worth of factory shop manuals that they went out of print. They stopped printing shop manuals in 2005. So now everything is digital. The good thing is, I've got, Gary Stanton has worked on 356s and 914s and, all the newer cars from back when they were current new cars. Brandt is the same way. I mean, he's owned 914s when they were first out, so he knows all about those. Both those guys build engines, the 6-cylinder engines, in their sleep. Blake is he's younger and he is more well versed with the newer cars and all the computer. We have like 2 PWI systems and a number of electronic diagnostic systems from Porsche and other places. So we cover all the gamuts with them. So we got a good cross section. These guys can all work on, like we stick all the 928s with Brandt. He owns one, and he's an expert with them. Now all of them can work on 928s. All of them can work on a Panamera, but they sort of tend to specialize in certain ones. So we cover all the bases, but stay very specialized. Early on when I bought the shop, I tried to have some consultants come in and study the business and try to figure out how we can make it more profitable, more efficient, or whatever, mostly more profitable. And they always come back with the same study, and they'll say that what you have to do is take on BMW and Mercedes and expand out. And, I just throw them, it costs $10,000 or so to get that kind of advice that I can get from any of my friends. But to then compete with the great BMW guy that's around the corner or the Mercedes guy that's up on Decatur, it's crazy because they're specializing in those cars. And we send people with Mercedes and BMWs to them because they're the experts. Kent Moore does a lot of racing preparation and whatnot. He's been to Le Mans and whatnot and won Le Mans, and he specializes in GT cars. So we send all the GT cars over to Kent to work on it, Premier Sports Car Service. We'll do tires and brakes or things like that, but any of the really specialized work, Kent's the GT expert. So I think that's our strongest thing, is that we stay concentrated on what we know and be the experts of one thing.
What's the craziest thing? I've been in your shop sometimes and I've seen, everything like you said, you have all the different cars on the racks in there sometimes, but what's the most crazy difficult Porsche to work on? Like which one is the one that you're just like, oh my gosh, we have to change the alternator in a turbo Cayenne, or what's the craziest thing out there right now?
Well, a 928 is unbelievable. It's incredibly complicated. The wiring and the electrics in a 928 it's like working on an F-16, and
shaped like one too.
Yeah,
from the same era.
It's a fantastic car, but very, very sophisticated and complicated especially in the year that it came out. They were out in '79 to the early '90s, and most shops. A lot of people say, "Well, we can work on your Porsche because we've worked on a Volkswagen before." It's not the same thing, but nobody really wants to work on a 928 because they're so complicated and almost antiquated in trying to find parts and information on them. My guys know them, really well. So that's one thing. But then you get into like a 944 turbo, a 951, like Brandt that works mostly on the 928s. He would rather work on a 928 than a 951 because there's so much. The turbo is usually rusted in place. There's no room to get in there and do any work, and it's just time consuming to work on a car like that. But it's a phenomenal car. It's a great car. So again, they really run the gamut. Like a 356 is a relatively simple car, but it was handmade back in the day, so you can work on a lot of the things with your hands with it and fix things. Whereas a lot of the newer cars, all you can do is plug the computer in. The computer gives you a rough idea of where the problem is, but it doesn't tell you how to solve the problem. But when you do, it's usually just replacing a component. It's not fixing the car the way you do with some of the earlier cars, and earlier being even in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So you never know what you're going to run into. Besides the cars that come in that have been neglected, and the worst cars are an older car that has almost no mileage on it, because you start driving them and everything breaks, everything leaks. People think that, a 30, 40-year-old car with 10,000 miles on it, they're buying a brand new car. No, you sit in a Barca-Lounger for a week and see what you feel like when you get up.
Yeah. Well, that's, it's pretty amazing, the technology and the advancements and everything, the way it's all these new cars, and now with EVs, obviously even Porsche's in that game. And there's been a lot of talk about how, with this big push for EV over ICE, internal combustion engines, that, which one is better for the environment. And there's been some recent information has come out, and we're going to talk about that a little bit right after we have a word from our good friends at Porsche of Las Vegas. Hey guys, I got to tell you about our friends Porsche of Las Vegas and Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you got to call our friend Steve at this guy.
1989 linen gray metallic G50 cab.
Is that going to be for sale?
It is going to be for sale. The car only has 65,000 miles.
Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about, and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Porsche of Las Vegas.
If you don't subscribe to Bid Nerds on YouTube right now, I'm going to shoot this 997. If you said, wait, that's a 996, you're a nerd. So subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Bid Nerds.
Get those nerds! And welcome back to Die Porsche Podcast. Special guest star Tony Mazzagatti from the 900 Series TV show, which is really cool. And upcoming third season coming out, Tony, right?
Correct.
And our good friend JP is going to be producing. So we'll see.
That's the word on the street.
We'll see how that kind of affects the...
I'm an indentured servant to 900 Series.
You owe them so much money that this is like... Yeah.
Self-destructed right after I got it, and the electrical system just
is that
like,
the same backdate that I can find on that really other great YouTube show, the Rami Show?
That's a good plug there, Mental. Why don't you tell them what show
plug
that's
on,
on?
Mentor.
All right, so hey folks, if you're also not watching the Rami Show, you're missing out, and you should check out Rami Drives JP's Car. It's a great episode. Really, while you're there,
that's the title?
Just like and subscribe. It's Rami in the backdate. Yeah, 964 backdate. It's a good show. You should watch it.
It's not
Great, and it's a great car. Great car. It's an 86 3.2, but backdated body, and it's a beautiful car. Great running car too.
There's your voiceover from now on. Don't use the robot voice. Just use his.
Well, I'll synthesize Tony's voice, and then we can. That's why we wanted you here, Tony.
Yep.
The next version of the 900 series won't actually be you. It's just going to be a deep fake. So we just needed sample material. That would be.
A lot of people think my name is Maserati.
Maserati.
You do seem like you should own an Italian shop instead of a German car shop.
I've only owned one Italian car. At one time when I was moving from New Jersey to Chicago, I had one of those little 2-cylinder Honda 600s and an Italia, which is a car that looks like a Ferrari Daytona that's built in Modena, Italy, but it has a Cobra engine in the thing.
That sounds good.
That was a fantastic car.
Yeah.
And a BMW. So people were wondering which side of the Allies I was on, in World War II. But that was the only Italian car I had. But it had a 351 Cleveland head engine in the thing, and it weighed nothing. It was just a phenomenal car. Skinny tires on it because that's what we had then.
It's the best kind of Italian car.
Yep.
One with a American power.
Of course,
plant.
I sold it for $4,200 when I was done with it, and they're going for $150,000 now. But that's a different issue.
Ouch.
Well, that's what we were kind of talking about before the break, is that, driving these old cars, if you had just kept driving that car, not only would it be worth more, but it would have been better for the environment because we all care so much about the environment on the show. We're so into that and all the emissions and all that kind of stuff. There was a recent meme that's getting around the scene that I'm paraphrasing, and we'll show it so you guys can see how wrong I am. But it basically says that the production of an EV car, just the production, not the overall life, but the production, just making the darn thing, emits more greenhouse gas and all that bad, all the stuff that Greta, Thunberg is all really upset about. It emits
How
more.
dare you, sir?
How dare you, right? Just the production of one of these
Satan juice
EV
is what I
cars
call it.
is worse than driving a classic car, building the classic car, and having driven it for 37 years. You could have driven that Italia this whole time, and it would be better for the planet than having built a Taycan.
Even with the black cloud of smoke coming out of the back.
Oh yeah.
And Jason says, and not to mention a heck of a lot more fun.
Well, and
I
then the
added
black
heck.
cloud coming out the back of it's just the tires.
Well, listen,
Unless you're in Ohio.
But you can't afford the speeding tickets. I mean, you have to factor that into the cost of driving a car like that.
the modern electric cars are fine as long as you don't mind blowing the top of a mountain off to get lithium.
Right, and
I mean,
enslaving
if
a
you're
bunch
cool
of
with that-
children and,
that I'm fine with.
I mean, we're good with that. Right. I mean, as long as they're in another country. Yeah, it's in China, so who cares?
Oh, did
Got
this?
the rainbow again.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And
Reading
I'll
rainbow.
come back with you right after the blow on the top of a mountain, and you go back to your enslaving joke, which is funny as shit.
Slavery
All
joke.
You're good.
Always good for a slavery joke.
Okay. So, Dwayne, I'm clicking on you.
Okay.
Say, as long as you're good with blowing the top of the mountain off, and then we'll go right back to JP.
As long as you're good with blowing the top of a mountain.
See, I'm
off.
going to forget to edit this technical difficulty,
not
and
gonna work.
whoever's going to watch this show is going to be like, what? You guys are like, what just happened? We had a
What happened?
technical issue.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just go with it.
It happens.
Continuity. Who cares? It's a podcast. Keep up, people.
No, but
All
I
right.
mean, there's a lot of things happening with electric cars.
Yeah.
The fact that the batteries, what do you do with them after 5 years? But I mean, is that a consideration for a shop owner who, I mean, you're going to have to keep up with a Taycan, right?
Yeah. Are you
Yeah,
guys
and
doing service on Taycans?
No, we're not. And it's because most of the time we have to train ourselves on the cars. And right now there's not enough of the Taycans to really invest that time and effort. Plus, the dealer is the place to go with a car like that. Until there's enough experience out there. Now, I've built one electric car with lithium-ion batteries in it in a 914. It was a lot of fun to do. I will never do another one again. But I'm waiting. The jury is out on all of this stuff. Forgetting the politics of it and whether anybody really knows what they're talking about. We'll wait and see. I've seen so many things develop over years. I mean, even take the light bulb. When they wanted to get us away from incandescent lights, and we got those little swirly fluorescent kind of light bulbs, and everybody was up in arms about them and saying, they're not that great and they're not that efficient and whatnot. They only lasted a year or two, and now we got everything is LED. So I don't know where all this stuff is going to go. I'll wait and see.
It could be hybrid. I mean, hybrid is still a very viable powertrain. Best of both worlds.
Well, I
I
mean,
guess.
but so is
You get the
ICE,
torque.
really. I mean, the thing is, it's that, an internal, a hybrid is both. So if I think that efficiencies can be built into things, into the
absolutely
ICE,
they can.
ICE vehicles that way
the
far
biofuel
out,
that they're making in.
What's
ICE
that?
engines today are pretty clean.
Yeah, Jason's saying that ICE engines are really clean, especially compare them to older cars. But yeah, just the production alone of these incredibly complex electrical devices and all the things, all the problems that it's causing geopolitically, it just seems like, man, drive a classic car. It's more fun. Tony, you said earlier that you were in one of our other episodes where you're talking about, look, it's just, you don't want a garage queen. You like to drive cars. And when you drive one of these EV cars, how do they make you feel compared to the classic cars?
I find them boring. I've got a friend that I race with that He's got a G body car, very modified, and he's got a Tesla, and he drives a Tesla. The thing is incredibly fast. It does a lot of fantastic things, and he loves the speed and everything. But he said it's so boring that he can't stay in it that long. Then he gets in his G body, and he's just rejuvenated. You know, and things may change. Again, we don't know right now with our battery technology and the way we produce batteries and produce electricity. That might change in 5, 10, 20, 30 years. We don't know. I don't know who's going to be around. I'm not going to be around for, probably the end result of all of this stuff. But
nuclear power.
I'll wait and see. Yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of power sources, just like the light bulb that changed. We don't know what's going to change with battery sources and battery production. So I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'm not driving an electric car now. I don't have. I even have a problem with some of the newer Porsches. I was in a relatively new Boxster the other day. I mean, I got in, the seat moved up, the steering wheel came down, the mirrors adjusted, the radio came on, the lights came on, the windows went up and down, and I pulled away, and it was dead quiet inside the car. That is not fun to me, just me personally. I like a little more raw. To me, it's not a sports car. It's great for the people that want that. I want a sports car. I want to feel the car, the outside environment. I want to feel everything happening. There was an incident with the dealer that we have here that this young guy that had plenty of money, he always had brand new Porsches and whatnot, and he thought he wanted a classic Porsche. So he got a G-body, an SC or something like that, and he brought it back a week later, and they said, well, why'd you bring it back? And he said, it's way too complicated. And we were trying to figure out, well, what's complicated about a 911 SC?
Have you seen the heating system in those? To be fair, I mean,
I still can't figure that thing out.
I mean, there's knobs and buttons.
So he was saying, I have to hold the button all the way down until the window comes all the way down. The headlights don't come on automatically. They don't go off automatically. I have to adjust my seat. I have to do all of these things. It's way too complicated to deal with. Well, see, the demographics are changing dramatically. So I don't even know what the demographics are going to be like when there are more electric cars around. So I don't care right now.
Tony's convinced me. I think I need a classic Porsche. Where's a great place that I can just buy a classic Porsche?
Well, as it turns out, we have a place right here in Las Vegas. Our good friends at Porsche of Las Vegas, the very first classic Porsche
TM.
Classic TM. Partner in North America. Stock our friend Steve Teal over there. Talk to our friend Steve Teal over there. He will get you set up on the classic Porsche that you are looking for, and they've got all the parts.
Sold.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
I talked to him yesterday, actually.
Tell me I heard it at on Bid Nerds and held it on Dur or Die, and Tony Mazzagatti even said, go down and get your classic Porsche.
Their classic
Porsche
Porsches are gorgeous. They are beautiful.
Beautiful.
They do a fantastic job of turning out the best cars. They're really nice.
Yeah. Is Steve the one who's finding the cars?
Yeah,
he finds some good ones.
Yeah.
He finds some
Yeah,
good
I
cars.
feel like he's got a honey hole somewhere. He just keeps pulling out home run
some
after
clean,
home run.
whatever.
Yeah,
Clean
I'm
86.
going to follow him around.
Yeah.
And see
Me
where,
too.
See where
I already
he goes.
do.
That you guys think I was like slipping when I said stock Steve Teal.
And that was
instead of
actually
talk
like
to
a
Steve
Freudian
Teal. No, I
slip.
meant actually stalk
Stalk
him
him,
so you
yeah.
can figure out where the
Literally
hell he's
stalk
getting
him.
these amazing
I have his
cars.
address.
Dwayne permission to stalk somebody.
Never
I
give
am
me
giving
permission to stalk.
Dwayne permission. That's true. He's
Permission
got
granted to myself.
That is true. All right. Well, there it is, guys. We're going to wrap this episode up and just encourage you to go out and check out the 900 series on MAVTV. Tony Mazzagatti, thanks for hanging out with us. You going to come back sometime?
My pleasure. I will come back anytime.
Your honorary peanut gallery from here forward.
I'll give you the $50 when we wrap up the show.
Make sure you
Saying
pay
that?
the man for coming in.
Yeah, yeah. Jason, thanks for hanging out. Mental, thanks for pushing the buttons. Check out Mental's podcast, Everyone Racers, and then also check out our sister channels, Bid Nerds. Yeah. Monday through Friday, the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites, and also the Rami Show, weekly car reviews from the craziest car reviewer anywhere in the world. Rami
He is
Mirza.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Anything else you want to talk about, Dwayne?
Yeah,
Wix Garage, anything exciting going on in Wix Garage?
I got a new episode I'm working on right now.
Nice.
So that should be out this week. Like and subscribe. And follow me on IG.
Yeah,
Instagram.
man. You watch this show, there's all the content for days. Like, you never need another podcast. What were you going to say, Jason?
He's on the gram. I didn't know that. I got to follow him.
What?
What? I didn't know. Now I do. I will stalk
I can't believe it.
Jason still thinks that's a graham cracker. All right, guys, we're done. Thanks. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.